mystery in your soul, waiting to shine. Pour a cup, lay the cards, let the magic flow. Every path has a meaning, every heart will know. We all have a journey, we all have a light. Through the highs and the lows, it's gonna be alright. At the TarotJo Café, let's talk for a while. Sip on some wisdom, leave here with a smile. The world feels lighter when we share our way. So pull up a chair at the TarotJo Café. She's a dreamer, a healer, a seeker, a friend. Every story has a lesson, a love with no end. In the shuffle of life, we find what is true. Spirit's been waiting, just calling to you. We all have a journey, we all have a light. Through the whispers of fate, we'll find it tonight. At the TarotJo Café, let's talk for a while. Sip on some wisdom, leave here with a smile. The world feels lighter when we share our way. So pull up a chair at the TarotJo Café. Through laughter and lessons, through heartache and dreams, the stars keep on shining more than what they seem. Open your heart, let the universe play, where we're all connected in some kind of way. So follow the stories, let spirit be free. Light workers rising like waves on the sea. At the TarotJo Café, your soul's home to stay. Come in, come closer, don't drift
Everybody, and welcome to another episode of the TarotJo Cafe. And well, I've got a very special guest who is showing me his big eye already. The amazing artist, deck collector, tarot reader, and well, what else? There's so much to tell about this man, but he will introduce himself without a doubt. Andrea. I didn't ask you about your last name. Is it Aste? Aste?
Aste. It's okay.
Aste.
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 Aste. It's perfect. English pronunciation Asti. I always answer, so don't worry. It's just the same. Nice to
Please
meet you.
introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you bring in this world? And
Madness.
this,
I
um,
bring absolute chaos. It's difficult to define because I'm like the wind. I change shape every time and I don't like labels. So usually I say I'm a multimedia artist. What I like is talking about imagination and magic, connecting the two concepts in one single sentence. Magic is the science of the imagination. So everything has to do with our ability of thinking about something that is not yet there. This is my field. So from children book, tarot book, philosophy stuff, animations. I create sculpture, theater shows. I'm visual. I use two mediums, the visual aspect and the words. And when I can connect the two of them together, I created my world. So my tarot usually are storytelling. I have a very heavy storytelling part on them, so I invented character, I invented animation about them, crazy stories. My first deck, the Book of Shadows, I pretended to, that was discovered in an archaeological discovery, digging, an archaeological digging, and a full story developed of it. I created a documentary and everything. I have a lot of fun. And of course, it's not just for fun. There is always an idea. I like to provoke people I hope in an intelligent way, make them think. And in this case was, what is the distinction between reality and fantasy? Do you realize that fantasy is a way that we can use to interpret the world and represent it? So fantasy is a powerful tool. But if you think about, if you ask people, they say it's not real, it's just a fantasy. Wait a moment, stop there, because it's a fantasy now. Think about Jules Verne when he was thinking about the Nautilus, the submarine Captain Nemo, that it was powered by a very strange uh, source of energy. And how he described it is a perfect description of electricity that was invented or discovered later on. So, what is fantasy is not just imagination, it's the ability of thinking about something and then
Mhm.
working to realize it in our plane of existence. And this is important. And this is the reason why I always talk about the inner child, the ability of be able to wander at the world, to watch at the world with curiosity and play with it in an intelligent way, creating, taking the responsibility of the adulthood, but not killing the inner child. The
Very
living little
important.
things that make you feel crazy. So,
Yeah, we
gosh,
did crazy stuff, and maybe some people that follow me recognize you from pictures of the last tarot conference. We were having a lot of fun. Well, I saw it actually
dancing.
afterwards, and you said about provoking a little bit, but getting people out of their comfort zone. Because we danced and we sang at the tarot conference, and because it was the Fool's Year, that was one. But also, I invited people to let things go, and you did.
Yeah, but why not? I mean, I think life is done to, we are here to discover life, to experience. Whenever I discover that I'm too safe in my comfort zone, I'm not, and I'm not living fully. Because to live fully, you have to challenge yourself, discover new things from food, books, music, friends, culture. I mean, I live in so many countries that is, I mean, too many. I never like to stay in my own because I feel like a cage. Everything is boring after a while. The culture, the food, I mean, it's amazing. Italy, yes, okay. But then I discovered Germany, Holland, Paris, I mean, France, and then South America. And then I move here. I mean, I always look for other places to live, to languages to talk, things to discover. I love that. I love everything that is different from my own way of thinking and from myself. And I love to connect things. And this is the reason why I created the Discombobulator, if you want, the magazine, the esoteric magazine of the unexpected, the unseen, and the unexpected, because I wanted to connect different people
Just hold it
around.
up a little bit longer
Yeah,
because
sorry. Yeah.
it's a big eye as well. What
Is
have
the
you got
eye
with this
of
big eye? This big eye.
is the eye of the occult. You know that this graphic came into my mind reading Nietzsche. When Nietzsche said, if you look at the abyss long enough, the abyss look back at you, is a moral dilemma. Looking at the abyss is something that looking at your dark side, looking at a morality without God. I mean, a morality we can create is his own version and everything. But anyway, this is the eye of the abyss, the eye of the occult. They're looking back at you. What is the occult? The occult is everything that is the mystery. Like, for me, it's the mystery. The mystery is beyond what can rationalize or we can describe with science. So is a melting pot from which in the past a lot of science came out, like from alchemy, chemistry. Think about medicine that at the beginning was very peculiar, very magical practicing. And I don't despise this kind of stuff, this kind of pre-scientific thought. I think they are a very incandescent magma that can be molded in different shapes and can inspire us. And so I wanted to connect esoteric people from all over the world to talk about their own magic, their own ideas. Because think about tarot. Now they are a widespread phenomenon, but we create tarot here in the Western world. Tarot was created for the first, was born in Italy between Middle Age and Renaissance, sort of. So it's a Christian mentality, a Catholic mentality, reflecting a very specific era with specific structure and everything. But then now you have tarot that created in Japan, in Africa, in America, in Australia. So I wanted to know their own voices, their own interpretation, and not just about tarot, about everything that is esoteric, but in a deep way, and I hope in a beautiful way, because I mean, while many magazines are printed on bad paper with very little pictures, this is what I do. I dare to do something like that. I have just pages, maybe with just one sentence,
Yeah.
because this is pivotal. I don't need anything else. I wanted to create a magazine that give esoterica is dignity, is depth, is beauty, and so there are photographic journey on Magical City, talk about tarot, talk about shamanic dreams, and every issue has something special. So, but this is what make my heart beat.
So what is the big what was your big goal when you started this magazine? What is it that you want to achieve and say like if I've done that, then I've got something
create
that's different.
create a community of readers and writers or people that wanted to share their thought. I wanted to create a community of people that dare to express new ideas, to challenge our comfort zone, to challenge our point of view, and to I mean, I love when I read a book or I see an interview, a film, a piece of art, whatever, that challenge and destroy my point of view of something. I'm not scared about discovering to be wrong. I
Right.
like it because in this way I can adapt. I don't see my ideas like, oh, they are killed, they are wrong. Oh my God, now I don't know. No, I say, oh, okay, I was wrong. Oh, let's see what new horizon a new point of view can open. And
Yeah.
I love that. So I would like to do that with the magazine. And for now is having a lot of, I mean, lots of success, a lot of people that like to read it, people that wrote me that they like the depth of it because it's like academic, but not written from academia and for the academia. So it's deep, but not that deep that people cannot reach the content or grab it or understand it or whatever. I, I want to be for everyone, but I wanted to go away and I don't know, I know now that I will say something very controversial, but something that I don't like is the person that you find on YouTube, TikTok, or social media. Then in 5 minutes, they tell you all the meanings of every card and they say that this is all. For me, magic is deep, is study, is suffering, studying something, is going really, really deep. I hate superficiality, and not just in tarot, in life. I don't like it, I don't stand it. So, unfortunately, I felt overwhelmed by this kind of way of superficiality. Easy to read book without a real content, silly music with silly text, silly speakers or silly influencers say something that doesn't really matter. It's just the usual catch sentence you hear around. I
Hmm.
wanted to go away from everything and be surrounded by meaning and meaningful articles and people.
Yeah.
And I think I achieved it. I'm happy. So
Yeah, it's like I always like to teach people not just the meaning of cards or to talk about cards, but about the soul depth. I always say I call myself the soul decoder. So I like to go a little bit deeper, and it's as deep as you can be. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable, but it pushes a little bit against the uncomfortable things. Then it's going to be magnificent. I always say.
yeah, I think
It's also like I always like to test a little bit whenever if I do readings or I do talks with people, like okay, what is it that the perspective of this person and what also what I can learn from this person because we're here as students and teachers and everything in between. I love to be inspired.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thanks to the magazine, I'm learning a lot. I'm changing my point of view on many topics. There are things I never approach in my life. I didn't have the time. Maybe I'm curious, but I mean, I never have time to approach it. And now I have no excuses anymore because I talk with a lot of people before decided the topics of an article, and then I read it, I illustrate, I look for the pictures. I mean, it's one man magazine. I'm doing everything. So apart of writing, no, that no. But the illustration, the editing, the talking, the organizing, it is the reason why it's just twice a year because it's incredibly expensive in time, in emotions, and I wanted to create something that I need time to create beauty and meaning. You need time. I don't want to be uh, pressured to create something that go publish every single month, and then when you don't have anything meaningful, you do whatever passes in your mind to print it just to fill the gap. I don't want that. I really don't.
Yeah, it's good to have time, but it's also good to have a deadline, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Because
absolutely. No,
otherwise
no.
it's like we're just, the I always call it the empress energy, like, oh, we're creating, everything's beautiful and everything's hanky-dory, but then the empress needs to be there, like, and
Yeah.
now we need to finish it, like, there's put your shoulders underneath it and just go, that's
Yeah,
the
well, in that
empress.
I'm quite very well organized because I already have the deadline for all the articles and the illustration and everything for the issue of this year. Then the printing process, I always keep a little bit of 1 week, 2 weeks of margin because sometimes I don't want to give it to the printing process before feeling that it's almost perfect. It will never be perfect, but I
No,
really want it to
no.
be as best as I can. I will
I
not
know that.
go into the print just because this is the deadline. No,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely not.
I know that feeling. You want it to be perfect, but then it's being printed and you think, something
Oh,
that
it's
could have been
always like
better
that.
and that could
Oh,
have
it's
been, oh,
always
I
like that.
just missed that, and you need to let that go.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
so the
absolutely.
the magazine, is it like for starters? Is it like for pros? For who is it?
For everyone, I think is food for the curious mind. I have different kind of,
I like that.
different kind of writings, different topics. So if you're curious, this is the magazine for you. You can teach, you can learn a lot of stuff. You can write because I always open my door for everyone that has incredible ideas of point of view or tarot deck. What I say is usually is I would like to give a voice to those that a voice don't have. So usually I avoid mainstream tarot deck author or artists that are published by a publisher because they don't need me. They have the powerhouse of their own publisher behind their back. I prefer to talk, to give space to people that create their own deck because they have a vision, because there is a story, independent scholars. Then, of course, they are published authors, is okay. But what I want is the originality of the talk. And above all, I don't my way of creating the magazine is completely crazy because I give a fluctuation of in number about the count words because I always said, right, if it's 1000 words, it will be 1000 words. If it's 2000, it will be 2000. And then when we have it, we decide what to do. If we split it into issue, if it's published in one, because an article stop when you are stopped to say what you needed to say for that article. It's very frustrating to have to discuss a topic that is very difficult or very deep in, I don't know, 300 words. But no, you just introduce it maybe with 300 words. So I'm not scared about the length because then the visual organization of the magazine will give the pace, the space to breathe, the mind to rest. So, but it's important that there is content, real valuable content and in every aspect, from the words, from the visual, and then it has to be for me even a tactile experience has to be beautiful. I always say that I wanted to create something that is like a coffee table magazine for us esoterica, something that you keep there, that you to show your friends because it's beautiful, or something that you go on and watch it like a collectible. It's
That's
more
really
like a
empress.
book.
That's really empress energy, isn't it?
But I mean, because at the
And it's
end,
beautiful. I can really admire something beautiful. But you've also got plans to expand it, not just a magazine, but to expand it. And I like that idea because, the unique tarot deck, I have QR codes that people can, go to read things about the cards. I have the QR codes for in my book.
Yeah.
And I've created the songs with the chapters. But you're going to do something also a bit like with QR codes. Tell me about this.
Yes, the idea is the magazine for me was the beginning because for me is a set of mind. I mean, as I said, I need to be to have stimuli, to be challenged. So I wanted to create a place where people can find something like that, food for the mind. But the paper is not enough. I love multimedia. I'm a multimedia artist. I created the first Italian magazine with augmented reality back on the time. Now I wanted to create something a little bit different. I want to connect a few articles with a QR code to have specific music to listen when you read the article, and then having meditation, then having deep part of the topic analyzed through a dialogue. So I will record interviews, talking, debate. Imagine something that can be controversial. I have an idea, you have the opposite idea. We found another person, and maybe a mediator. We put all together. We record our talk, our debate, and that can be accessed to with a QR code in the magazine. And then I wanted to create a contest for the graphic of the page of the cover because now I'm creating it. But for the issue number two, I hope to be able to have the time to set a contest and see what other people think about specific topic connected to esoterica. Because for me, it is important. This is a magazine, this is a container, and the container is for everyone. I create like the frame, but then all the other people can fill it. So artists, musicians, writers, tarot creator, intuitive people, philosopher. I have a lot of people that are a university degree, they are research at university or were research at university, but they write in a very easy, accessible way because culture, I think we have to destroy the myth that if it's deep and culture, it means that it's not for everyone, that it's not accessible. No, it depends of your quality in communicating. If you're a good communicator, you'll be able to make understood even the most difficult topic.
Yeah. It's I always say that's why I wrote my first book, The Tarot Manual. If you can explain it in a very easy way that everybody can understand, then it's going to be accessible for everybody. And that's why I started writing my books. And I'm self-published, so I publish everything. I'm just like I do everything. Design, contacts, printing, finding out, you
We are
know,
similar, but this is mean freedom. You do what
yes,
you want.
but it takes a lot of time, a
I
lot of
know,
time
I
and
know.
frustration because I never designed a book cover. I never designed my deck cover, and it's everything's new and everything is something that you start from zero, and you can't just say someone, oh, you just take care of that. No, we take care of everything. And that is what I like about the self-publishing things. And it's a lot of work, but it's also very rewarding, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
everything comes back to you. We don't get
yeah.
rich from it, by the way, but people think like, oh, they're getting very rich from these books and magazines. No.
No, they cost a fortune to print it. Then you have
Yes.
to distribute, spend time for advertising it to make it and to make people know that it's there. And no, and then the incredible amount of hours, Saturday and Sunday and nights that you have to work to create something.
I
No,
know.
you will not be repaid for that.
No,
But you do something. I mean, in the magazine, there is not advertising. I
no.
did it free from advertising. So it was a big challenge because I invested my savings to create it.
Yeah.
But I was sure that it was worthwhile because talking with other people, I felt the other people like me needed they have the same need.
Yeah.
And
I
so I
agree.
said, no, this is the right time for doing it. And I did it. And I'm happy. I mean, it's a struggle because, I mean, of time organizing and everything. I mean, only contacting all the writers, all the artists, and putting together and try to adapt or whatever something when you don't have the article anymore because there is a problem and they need more time, and then you have to decide if to wait to substitute. And I mean, it's not easy. And then you don't want to offend anyone. You want to respect the sensibilities of everyone. So it's not easy.
No.
But
That's what
it's
people
part of the
forget.
game.
Like they think like it's the normal ways. Like if they pick up a book or something, I mean they've been printed like for thousands of copies at the same time. We always have to see like, okay, what budget is left, and these are the amount of things we can actually print. And then you have to hand out a lot of books and magazines away for publicity reasons. So
Yep.
you're not going to make anything, and that's fine because it's something you have to do if you're a respectable business, like you have to give
Yeah.
things away, you have to make time. But we don't mind, but it's very good that we talk about it, that it's not just that easy for like self-publishing
Oh,
artists like we
no.
are. So most things, yeah, it costs money. Let's put it that way.
And then, I mean, think about the experimentation. I show you before this is the box for the new
Yes.
tarot deck. The one that is almost is on Kickstarter right now, but almost finished. And
Yes.
I mean, it just 2 days, and then the Kickstarter will be over. This is the Tarot of Crossed Destinies. To create this simple box, I have to spend quite a fortune to create with the printer the mock-up. And this is the third or fourth mock-up because something like easy, like this curvature, was not coming well because you have to use the right cardboard and bend it in the right way because it was just segmented. It was ugly, and now it's incredibly smooth. It's perfect, exactly as I wanted.
Yeah.
But this is the reason why Kickstarter is an amazing way. I always a little bit, I don't want to say offended, but disappointed when people say, "Oh, I will buy it on Kickstarter." No, you don't buy on Kickstarter. You go on Kickstarter to be like a shareholder of a project. You help the project to come to life. You can
Exactly.
steer the
Exactly.
project with new ideas. Sometimes when I did a Kickstarter campaign, people said, "Oh, but I ever thought to do something like that. Why don't you change this detail?" And then you think about it and say, "Oh, he's right. Let's do the calculation. Let's see if it's possible." And sometimes new things comes or new ideas, new project. And I think it's amazing. It's a community. It's not selling. You want it, take it, bye bye. No, it's a constant dialogue and supporting each other and discovering and doing stuff. And
Yeah.
I think that for a self-published artist, Kickstarter is really important because they give you the money to start printing, to test it, and go to the world in an easy way.
Yeah, well, can you believe it that the first books, many books, we just printed ourselves and bind it ourselves as well. We just bought a very big printer and a big commercial binder, and we just started doing ourselves. That's how it all started. Nowadays, I have a great printing shop who's doing it for us, but that was the first, like the course books we did, but also my books we started off as just to bind it ourselves and do everything, every single thing ourselves.
I
Can you
know.
imagine? Can you imagine?
But I know very well the feeling because sometimes, I mean, I can create a tarot deck, but sometimes I create a tarot deck and I create a package with a giclée or an original piece of art of a prop that I create. So it's always very artistic or artisanal too. I created tarot deck that are printed and aged by hand, like Il Meneghello in Milan. So you have to create, and this is handmade, and so you do very limited copies of them because you cannot, you don't have the energy to create not even 100. Maybe
No.
you stop at 20 because can you imagine to print by hand and create the box by hand and
I know.
everything is, but this is art. I mean, becomes an object of art. They become incredibly beautiful, incredibly precious, but I like to mix this kind of reality, or creating a tarot deck that when you watch with your mobile, it comes alive with augmented reality. I had that too.
Yeah,
That
isn't
is
that
quite.
amazing? Isn't it? I mean, I remember that the first time I had it printed, it just got misprinted now, and it just like edges came off, and people were like, "Oh, this is not good." It's the letters came off, and I had no idea that it happened that way. And then thankfully I didn't order that many copies, but and now it's something special because that was the first print,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and people want to have also perfection there, and in a way it's good that they ask for perfection, and the other way it's like sometimes things are not too perfect, and that's okay as
Yeah.
well.
You know, sometimes imagine all the post stamps, they have a problem in the printing and they are just maybe 150 in the world, and now they are incredibly valuable. And I like that. I never destroy the misprinted things because they can open new ideas for creativity, or they can be something special. Sometimes they are just ugly, but sometimes they are something say, oh, look at that one. Oh, interesting. It's a new thing. I like it. I
Yeah.
keep it. So is, I mean,
Well, one day will be like a fortune, like the misprint of Andrea
yes, but I would be
made
already
a
dead,
fortune.
unfortunately. But I will enjoy from above or from below. It depends on where I am. So, you never
I
know.
I always say, like, if something's going to be a lot of money, I hope they celebrate it with a good glass of wine and a great meal. Like
Yeah, I like the
yeah.
idea.
Let's go to your deck because
Yeah.
you're an amazing artist and you talked about the magazine, but there's also this incredible deck, and it's all about a castle.
Yeah, the idea is the starting point was to try to make people enter into the tarot cards. How can you enter into a tarot cards and be the main character, be the explorer? And then I have the idea. I mean, I remember one of my favorite books, that was Calvino, The Castle of Crossed Destinies. That is a very crazy, incredible book because imagine a group of travelers that get lost in a wood and they found refuge in a castle. But as soon as they enter into the castle, they lose the ability to talk. But in the center of a big table, there is a tarot deck. And they started to watch the cards, and they noticed that all the figures are like portrait of every one of them. So they see themselves mirrored in one of the cards. So they started to narrate their own adventure and to dialogue using the cards. So I don't know, I see myself, I see my feature represented in the page of coins. I don't know, first card. You put it there, and then you use all the other cards to tell what happened to you, why you reached the castle, what is the journey to bring you to the castle. And so in this way you create line and row, and they create like a major square. And so all the stories are crossed because when they use the same card, when a line cross the other story, the story of the two characters are crossing. They met somewhere, they interact. And so you have a collection of short stories that are all connected. And it's an amazing experiment about how meaning is created and evolved from images. And this is the reason why Calvino used tarot, because tarot are incredibly imaginific. You can open your fantasy watching tarot. He didn't know the traditional meaning of the cards, and this is the reason why he wanted to use it. And he used, I think, the Visconti Sforza and the Marseille deck, because there are two set of stories. And then I wanted to, when I said I want to make people enter into the tarot card, I said the best way is imagine if the castle of Calvino become the tarot deck. Imagine if there is somewhere a magical castle where every night all the rooms are changing position because they are like cards, and every night the castle shuffles itself. And so I said, okay, let's create a tarot deck where every single arcana is a room, is a space, is an architecture inside the castle. In this way, I mean, all the cards are connected to all the others. So when you shuffle the deck and you reposition them, you can create infinite architecture of esoterica, infinite mirror of your soul. And so in the cards, there are no figures. There are just architectures. I want to show you one because it's my favorite one. This is
The tower,
the
you
Tower
talked
of
about it.
Cross. Exactly. But what happened here that instead of showing the tower collapsing there, distant on a hill, you are inside the tower when it collapses. You feel the structure shaking, tremble. You see the rocks falling on your head is very deep, it's very personal, it's very dark. You feel it on your skin. So you are in the tarot now, you are in the castle and you navigate. And so I have the idea, I work a lot, it's more than a year, and I realized short stories and narrative things. And I mean, this is the box of the castle. And then I created magic props with their own stories because if you enter in the castle, I imagine to find the traces of other explorers.
Hmm.
So notes that they left, discovery that they did. So I creating a really complex but a very easy to understand architecture of tarot architecture when I left a lot of details, a lot of symbols, many rooms to people to discover. So even when you take the booklet, you will have not the solution of every mystery. You have to look for yourself. I give you
Hidden
some.
treasures.
Yeah, but I think if
Hidden
tarot,
treasures.
if you read tarot in this way, knowing that whatever the artist is giving you as an explanation of the card is just the beginning, and then I give you all the tools to go deeper. I mean, when I realized that the castle allow me to play with, it's not just metaphor, but it's something deeper. I created for the Kickstarter campaign this one. This is the Explorer Journey journal. So a way of doing journaling that is completely different because you have the classical pages when you write and everything, but then you have pages that guide you in finding other things. Like, let me find one now, and like this one. This is an exercise that I did. Imagine entering into the castle. You find in one room a bunch of suitcase, luggages, valise there, and they have a label. I ask people to name all the baggages they want to get rid of, emotion, memories, feelings, and write it down. And then there is an exercise to do using tarot. Then I recreated the full journey when I said, okay, you want to discover the castle, put yourself in the shoes of the fool because you have to be the fool. You have to be completely free and go out of your comfort zone. So put the fool as a beginning of the sequence, and then let's shuffle the cards, and then recreate your journey as the fool. So I created a lot of exercise to make people understand better the meaning of tarot, and I don't think about the meaning of my tarot because miniature in general, because yes, the shape of this card is a little bit different at the one that the refiguration, the one that you are used to see. But to create this illustration, I studied the traditional meaning of tarot, and then I layered with different layer of darkness, with different interpretation, different point of views. Think about the devil. I represented the devil like two glowing eyes. Here you see through a door that is just ajar and you see the darkness behind.
Can you show us the devil?
I don't have it here. I don't have it printed. Unfortunately, I don't have
Oh,
it.
that's
But you can
okay.
find it on the Kickstarter campaign. Sorry.
Yeah,
But if you
no,
go
that's
there, you
fine.
find because there is the picture of every single card. So it's there.
It's still in progress, of course, and it's still growing. And that's I love the idea of the mind is like getting you all sorts of places because you're dragging us into the castle. So you're actually make sure that we're in the card. Like for example, you were talking about the tower, which it scares people a little bit, you know, the tower picture. Normally we see it from the outside, but you just put
Yeah.
us inside the tower and the rubble is coming down on you. We were talking about it just before we started, you know, and sometimes it's a little bit more gruesome thinking like, oh, all the rubble is coming down on me. But then again, sometimes you have to really hit something so it can change your perspective
Yeah.
of life, right? So I like the
Yes.
idea of being inside the tower cards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I see behind you a beautiful picture of three Buddhas. Think about Zen Buddhism. To reach the illumination, you cannot just study and practice. Sometimes you have to do something that is completely crazy. I remember one of the classical Zen stories where a teacher tried to, I mean, a student wanted to reach the enlightenment, and the teacher would say, okay, there is a window there, jump out the window. And he was jumping and every time was fracturing part of his body. And he said, but teacher, I don't get the enlightenment. I don't get the I'm not feeling enlightened. He said, because you don't do it properly, jump again. And he keeps jumping, jumping, jumping. And at a certain point, the teacher jumped too and landed on top of the student. He said, now you get it? And he said, yes, now I get it. Because sometimes you need a punch. You need to feel uncomfortable. I mean, I always a little bit smiling when people said, "Oh, I don't like the suit of swords. It's so negative. It's so." But it's not negative. You call negative something that you don't want in life or something that is against your perspective, your ideas, your wishes. But we need that too, because otherwise you don't grow. You don't face reality. You cannot improve. So we
But not
need
just
it.
that, but if we don't have darkness, then you don't appreciate the light anymore now, do you?
Exactly. And then again, it's your attitude to make the difference. If
Yeah,
something happens, of course, it can be very tough. Life can be very, very tough, we know.
absolutely.
But is your attitude to change the negativity that happen is a challenge to grow or is something to destroy you?
Exactly.
Is
We
up
can't
to us.
change negativity. We can't change what happens to people, but what people can do themselves is the way they deal with it.
Yeah.
And
It's an
that's
important
very
lesson.
powerful.
Yeah.
And well, we talked about it that we both, we came across quite dark days.
Yeah.
And it's not just like I explained to you, like success is great. It's amazing if people love your magazine, love what you do and stuff, but we learn so much from the darkness. And still we learn from this. And we shouldn't fear shadows. We shouldn't fear darkness. We should embrace it and learn from it and tell our stories because we're
Yeah.
storytellers, aren't
Yeah,
we?
no, I agree. I mean, think about the concept of adventure. What is the adventure? If you think about the description of adventure, I mean, adventure is when something happened that it was not was something that you wanted to happen. So, this is the adventure. When you have to do a detour, when you have to change your plan, when something bad happened and all your life is completely revolutionized and maybe you don't want it, but then you discover how many things you explore, how many things you discover, all the things that you've seen and experienced that were not in the program.
Nope.
Of course sometimes it's a punch, of course sometimes we cry, but why we have to be afraid of suffering? I mean, you have the three Buddhas there. I am a Buddhist. I love Buddhism. I'm really, really fond of Buddhism. And
Yeah.
the Buddhas always says the best way to destiny has to make you understand that the path that you are following is not right, is through sorrow, is through pain. When
Exactly.
you are not acting correctly, you feel pain. Pain is a powerful tool to learn. It has not to be dismissed. And unfortunately, in our society, everything that is suffering, that is pain, is like push away.
Yep.
Because think about all the images of fake and glittering success that we see on social media. People with expensive clothes, expensive cars, and what expensive travels. But is that success? For me, this is emptiness. It's like when you go to the Louvre and you see a lot of people taking selfies with the Mona Lisa. And I said, why are you taking a picture of the Mona Lisa? To show others that you were there. I want to see the Mona Lisa. I don't care to take picture of me with the Mona Lisa to show that. I mean, the perspective is wrong. You don't have to do things to show others that you have it, that you did it, because you have not experienced his life. It's like just to be is a charade. Go to the Louvre
Oh,
to see the Mona Lisa
yeah, but
and
do it for
think about
yourself.
it.
Do it like you want to experience this. I mean, live in the
Exactly.
now. I wrote a beautiful song about that, about living in the now, because I really truly believe that there's so many people suffering, like we both did as well, but we stepped out of the suffering, but they continue to suffer. So I always say, like, they choose to live in the tower. Nobody
Yeah.
likes the tower. Nobody likes to live in the tower and all the rubble's coming up at you. But some people choose to. And just get out and see what beauty there is, but for yourself, not to take the
Yeah.
picture, like the selfie. I mean,
I
just live it and live it to the fullest. And some people always say to us, like, but you travel so much and shouldn't you save money? For what? I always say,
Exactly.
for what? Why do I need
Money,
to save money? I live now. I live in the
exactly.
now. I live to experience everything to the fullest. There is no guaranteed. Just enjoy it, but just enjoy it for yourself, not with a like you say with, the selfie. I'm going to the Louvre in August. I will make sure I'll take a selfie with the Mona
Yes, just
Lisa
for
and send
me.
it to you.
Say, Andrea, look. I say, yeah. Just to
But
provoke.
I'm just going there to enjoy it, just to see
Yes.
it myself with my own eyes, to admire it. That's the thing. Admire it for yourself. That's, I think,
Yes,
very,
because
very, very
you have
important.
to live your life for yourself. What you said about money is very important. Money is important
Of
because what
course.
is important is not to have money, but it's the lack of money to avoid it. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it. When my mother was in hospital, she was dying. She was, I mean, I don't want to go there and explain too difficult, too painful, but was not able to work on my own project. I have to attend it, I have to do a lot of stuff and a lot of papers. In Italy is a very horrible country for this, very bureaucratic. Imagine a person that cannot talk and move in a bed, completely paralyzed, and to go into surgery, she needed to sign the paper. How can you submit? How can you ask? She cannot move. She cannot talk. So we have to go all around this kind of nonsense. So I ended up having the money to pay the rent and not to buy food.
Yeah.
Because at the end, I decided, okay, I cannot not pay the rent because this is the money that I owe to the landlord. So I was paying the rent and then I didn't have money for food. I survived thanks to friends the last month of my mother lives and everything. And then I decided it was enough, and I changed country, I escape, and I mean, no, is but a tough story. But again, money is a tool. For me, it's a tool to create things. If you don't have the money, you cannot print a book. You cannot spend time to create what you want. To create an animation is incredibly expensive in time. If you cannot support yourself with a little bit of money that you put aside, you cannot create an animation. And maybe the animation is the things that you want to create to communicate a value and things. Unfortunately, we live in a society that is very plastic, is very glittering, is very fake, and short out like values. And then the worst is that they don't give us the tools to be happy. Even if our parents try to do their best, they fail, but like every generation fail in teaching what is really important because no one tell us, Andrea, I don't know, one day you will maybe will love a man or you love a woman or maybe you will love both, or today you have to work to realize your dreams, make the study that makes you free, to give you more perspective on the world. No, I mean, my parents was sort of like that, but a lot of friends of mine have parents like, oh, you want to, I study philosophy. Philosophy is notoriously famous not to give you a job after.
Mm,
But this is not the goal for selecting a university. I did it because I was curious, because I love philosophy. I wanted to do it, and I did it. And I faced the consequences after, but I don't care. The perspective and the study that gave me is incredible. I studied ancient Greek and Latin in the high school. And everyone says, oh, this is useless. You have to do something more practical. You have to learn. So, why? We are human beings. I'm not here to make a job to make money or survive or buy a car or buy a house or whatever. I'm here to experience in life, to explore, to discover. I mean, if I could, I will spend, I would like to have days of millions of hours so I can keep on study all the things that I love at university, create everything I want, travel and explore life. Because at the end, the clock is ticking, and maybe if I'm lucky, I can stay here for 80 years, 90 years, but then I hope in a good wealth, because otherwise it's useless to be here like a vegetable for 100 years.
no.
So as you said, it's
Yeah,
now our time.
money is energy. I always say like money is energy, and we
I
can
like that.
manifest. We can manifest. Like currency. I always see it like the English word currency. It flows. It needs
Yeah,
to flow. So yeah, if the way you talk about money, the way you think about money is to how much money you have, I always say. And that's very important for people to realize. And everything is, you can manifest. You can manifest
yeah.
new money, you can manifest things. Like everything I have, I manifest it and put it in the energy. I always encourage people to do that. So everything that we're going to create, and it's very important we still have people to create stuff like decks and beautiful art. And yes, there's AI, and I love AI as well, but there's AI art, there's human art, and it will be there forever next to
But you
each
know,
other.
AI can be a tool, like my computer or my tablet is a tool to create my art. It depends on how you use it. If you use it for cheating, then is bad. And then again, I think as an artist, I think that there is incredible beauty in the creation, in the creative process. I like creating it. If I have just an idea and I have immediately realized, but an artificial intelligence, I don't think I will enjoy the process as well because it's different, it's completely different. I like the testing, the change in the color, the change in the shape, to do all the mistake that you do when you create something. That they are not mistake, they are the other path that they are not realized, they don't lead where you want. But this is, I mean, it's a journey.
Absolutely. And as if you know, I love modern technology, and I like to mix it as well with AI. And but the old stuff will still be there, just like the art from a human being. It will still be there. It won't be gone or something like that.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
lives next to each other, and it encourages us also to see in a different kind of way. Like, okay, I can make art with AI, like this is like something created, or I can do it in my own perspective and mix it and make it.
exactly,
And that's
exactly.
different kind of point of views. And as an artist, it's some people say, oh, everything's bad about AI and I don't like it, and they
I
want to
disagree.
erase it. And I always tell them, guess what, it's not going anywhere, it's here. So
Exactly.
might as well embrace it, but see the different kind of beauty. That's what I like to
You
see.
know, think about what happened when photography came around. We used to have portrait of
Yeah.
people. Now we have photos. So the photography destroy, if you want, the portraiture, but it's not real either. Of course, change the market, but a lot of people now have their portrait taken by an artist. It's something more elitarian, maybe, but it's not even so impossible or so difficult. I mean, it depends on the artist you ask for, but there are lots of people that are not artists that are, I mean, they make a decent living, but they're not like Picasso that you have to spend 1 million to have a portrait of you. So they're accessible to. It's a choice. You can have a photo, you can have a picture. A picture, a painting. It depends on you. It depends on what you want. I think that every tools that magnify our creativity can be incredibly powerful and has not to be banished just because it's different. Imagine when digital art came out, they say there was not art. I mean, I stopped living in Italy. I really escaped my country because I wanted to create animation and graphic novels. And the galleries I was working with, they say, this is all not art. If you start to illustrate books, you are not artists anymore. And I
Yeah.
said, why these rules? Why I have to force to paint? And no, and I stopped doing it.
That's the thing with AI as well. I mean, it's there, so might as well embrace it. And like I said in an interview, you can buy a knife and you can cut a bread and you can stab someone. It depends what you're doing with it, right?
Yep, exactly.
Exactly, exactly that. So, so your new deck, the castle. Let's go back to that one.
Yes, the castle, sorry, yep.
Uh, when is it due? When is it something that we can actually experience? Do you have any
Oh,
idea?
well, you can explore right now the castle with all the videos I created, the animation, the talk, and everything on Kickstarter for till just Sunday. Sunday morning, the Kickstarter door will be closed and the castle will vanish into legend again. Then I already started to talk with the printer. I give it all the file for printing the cards and the box. So little by little, you know, the printing process is long. You have to create the PDF. You have to is offset printing, so you have to create the printing plate. So it's long. We just started. Then when the money arrive, I will pay and will start immediately to produce everything. I hope to have everything for June to start the fulfillment of the Kickstarter campaign, and so everything will be done, and people will be able to finally play with the cards, and then a lot of stuff will will start for real because then we have video talk, we have public readings, we have a lot of stuff that are already inside the Kickstarter campaign, like tarot lessons and everything. But then I organizing dialogue with other people that are like YouTuber, tipo, other creative mind that want to use with me the Tarot of Crossed Destinies. And then we will analyze it because I invented way of reading it a little bit different from the traditional tarot. Spread are different in that, so specific mechanism that then you can use with whatever tarot you want. But I want to go deeper with that, experimenting with people and see what they think and they say. So is for me is a work in progress. Like the Kickstarter campaign is the focal point because we play, we share, I go out in the world for the first time, and then from that moment on, there is all the rest because I keep writing about it, I keep working on it, I keep adding things. So for me, is the project is a project that is going on, is not end.
Ongoing project. So people can
Yeah,
still be a part of this lovely
yeah,
project and make sure that I'll post the link so people can
yes.
actually go to the link and check it out. Um, so is it possible to order, just like pre-order things, or is that something that's too soon?
No, for now it's too soon. When I do a Kickstarter campaign, I create a lot of props, a lot of magic things. Like I want to show you something that if I found yes is here, like I have an extra card in the deck that comes like that in a special envelope
Look at
that is
that.
quite, I don't know now if you can read it, I put it in this way. So there are doors that are meant to be closed that only few people can open. And so I created this parcel, and this is one of the extra cards coming. So as you see, there are things like that one, very artistic, very special, very that I create only for Kickstarter. I don't know if I have the time to create it outside. So this is the reason you see when you open the parcel, here you will find the card, and here there's all this explanation that is almost poetic, magical, and everything. So there are, let's say, magic props that will be there only on Kickstarter. The remain, maybe I will try to sell it through my shop, but it depends on how things are going because sometimes everything is already out on Kickstarter. Like I created the valise of the explorer that I mentioned before. The explorer that left things in the castle. There is a valise with the stickers of fantastic places that I created, and inside you find the deck, you find the booklet, and then a lots of magical items like the alchemical table of tarot. Yeah, I created a cheat sheet that is like the reproduction of the periodic table of elements with the meaning that are valid for all decks of tarot cards. So it's quite intriguing, and everything is inside the valise. And I will create only three, and the three of them went taken the first day of the Kickstarter campaign. So, and I will have not the energy to create a fourth one. So there are things that are gone or they are still there in the Kickstarter campaign and they will be there. But this is the fun of the Kickstarter campaign because there is the narrative, there are the things, there are the dialogue, and I have a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
The special edition, you have to be quick.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but because things that takes a lot of time to create. So I
Exactly.
cannot create some things are so that require so much work, so much printing, painting over, and creating stuff. Otherwise, my work would be that. And I like creating props, magical props, but limited. And then I go back to other things.
Yeah, yeah. Are you still be able to be that artist still that doing art besides the tarot? Are you still doing that, or are you just
Yeah, no, no,
completely
no, I do
drawn
it.
into the tarot?
I'm doing it, but instead of when I started, I was doing oil on canvas, so painting, big paintings and everything.
Yeah,
Now I prefer to do digital work, and then I print and I create poster of limited edition print.
yeah,
I want to start very, very soon to do sculpture and pottery because I have ideas of creating very crazy objects that reflect my fantastic world. So I want to materialize part of the fantastic world I created. And so my art now is more narrative driven, is more storytelling. I created like exhibition about representation of cities like plant animal, insect. So like a flora, fauna, a fantastic flora and fauna. And I keep going doing like that. But then there is the art and there is the book, there is the animation, everything is connected. This is the reason why I said I'm a multimedia artist. Now my project, you enter into them. You can go into an exhibition, then you see a film, or with a mobile activate the augmented reality, and then you have a book and you discover everything there and you can play and fall into the rabbit hole. And this is what I like. I want to make people dream and think and reflect about their own life, their own things, but through the veil, the lens of fantasy.
Wow. See, this is why we need creative minds like you to get us out of the reality and into fantasy.
Yeah, look how pale I am. I'm working too much. No, it's very tough. I mean, to create 24 minutes of animation when I did everything by hand, and it was 8 month of working from the beginning of the day, like 7, 6 in the morning till midnight, 1 in the night, every single day. 8 months like that is really, really tough.
That is intense, and people don't realize that it's
No,
costing a lot of time and energy. Even now with digital help, it's still a lot of
it's still
time and
long.
energy. Still a lot of
Yeah,
time and energy.
but where you said there is the augmented reality, I hope maybe to find the right tool to help me to make faster some of the process that
Mm.
can be make fast, so I can speed up, so I can create more. And the more that I want to create is I have so many ideas for exhibition, for books, but completely deranged ideas, completely crazy. But I want to have fun. And it's time for me now to reestablish everything, recreate a little bit of my fantasy world and make people really dream and fantasize about things. And I mean, the last exhibition I did, it was a couple of years ago in London. It was at Atlantis Bookshop. I have the exhibition of one of my tarot deck, the one that I pretend it was discovered during archaeological digging with all the mockumentary and crazy stuff behind. It was 3 years of work. I have glass um, boxes, like the one you find in the museum. Is not the right term, glass boxes, but the box, the transparent things when the ancient object are in a museum. Sorry, I'm missing the words in English. And then I have all the original tarot deck painted by hand, hang all slanting on the wall. I glue the box on the wall, and then I created the explosion of them. And then I put in on display all the props and everything, and the film was screened, and it was absolutely amazing to see how people were plunging to the fantasy world, exploring it, because it was special, it was peculiar, and I like that.
Yeah, sounds really lovely. I think it's a display box you call it, but
Yes, display box. Yes, oh,
display
sorry.
box.
Sometimes, I
I'm
mean,
looking for
this is
words.
this is the problem when you have to talk a language that is not yours all the time. Sometimes words are missing and they
Yeah.
are not coming. Absolutely.
Well, we're not dictionaries, I always say. So,
Oh,
we're humans, so who cares? But we need you as a fantasy creator because it's beautiful. That's why we love artists. That's why we love, especially in the tarot world, that an artist is like really diving into and see things from a different perspective. So I really, really love that. Where can people find you? Do you have a page where they can see your art and the things that you
yeah.
work on?
This is the classical problem of, they say that the shoemaker has no good shoes. So I have a website that has to be updated. So I think I'm late of 2 years of work because I didn't have the time. But you find a lot of, I mean, it's humongous. Like that is already huge with all the theater show, the animation, almost all the books and everything. So it's andreaaste.co.uk. Then there is I'll give you all the links. Then there is from there you can go to the
I just
shop.
put the links underneath so
Yeah,
people
yeah,
can find
exactly.
you, can find the Kickstarter,
Yeah,
and
and then the social media. You find
yeah.
me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And then there is the website of the magazine and Instagram and of the magazine. That is because I'm alone doing everything. Usually is the least one, but I mean, I mean, you can communicate with me with all the other places and
We're
about
doing it
everything, and it's
all
okay.
ourselves. We're doing it all ourselves, don't we? We don't
Exactly.
have
So
like
it's
we don't have a
okay.
team who are doing it for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe in future.
Exactly, exactly. Well, but I would like to expand. I mean, above all, with the magazine and everything, I would like to have on board of the project other creative mind in helping me in doing everything. And when I'm ready to do it, I will do it.
Yeah. But we always need to work on that progress and see how things can expand in future. Um Anything we forgot today? Is there something that we need to talk about that you thought, okay, we didn't discuss that yet?
Let me check. I don't know. I don't see. There is always something we don't talk about, but if we talk about everything, we will stay for 10 years here. So it's
There's
okay.
always a next time. I always say there's always
Exactly,
a next time.
exactly. No, I mean, come discover what I'm doing, but then discover the world, discover all the artists. I mean, support artists that create things without a publisher beyond the power of advertising, without the money to be spread all over the world in every places. Support the people that love what they are doing and they are doing not just to show off on to be
Oh,
famous or something like that.
I don't know.
Try to find honest people and support them because
Exactly.
it's important. It's really, really important.
Very last question for you. In 100 years, what would you like to be known for?
Oh gosh, I never thought about. But I hope to to still here, be here, and be able to keep working. You never know. No, I think for my message about magic as a science of the imagination. I would like that even in 100 years, the magazine will be still there, that someone will take over the magazine and carry on the torch and show the beauty of our fantasy, our mind, of our creativity to explore the world, to understand the world and ourselves. This will be the biggest legacy. Then, if my work, my animation or film and books or whatever, keep talking to people, I will be incredibly happy.
Andrea, thank you. It was such an inspiring talk.
Wow,
And
thank to you, Joe. It was a pleasure.
continue what you're doing. We need it. The world needs it. And keep doing what you do best is being incredible and creating all the new stuff. And who knows what will be the next project. We'll just keep
Absolutely.
a big eye on that.
Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to you. It was a real pleasure. But we will have something to, I mean, we already have a project, but we will talk about it. We will shock people with our project.
Exactly. They will till the next time. Let's put it
Yes,
that way.
exactly.
Till next time.
Actually, then look for the world.
Thank you and have a great day.
Thanks to you.
Bye.